college soccer players get drafted? Is that a thing? I'm the college soccer guy, and I help you play college soccer. Let's get into it. So, the draft, which is basically exists in every other sport, or the main ones, football and basketball and baseball, is when a professional team goes into the college world and says, we're going to draft and pick these players. So literally the draft is built for college soccer players. That's literally who it is for. It is really not for anyone else. Now, there are some other people that can get drafted outside of college. It's a little more complicated, but all you really need to know is the draft is built for college soccer players, which is why I tell people, they're like, college is such a bad way to go pro. You know, if you're going to go pro, just go straight to Europe. You guys are out of your mind if you don't have a European passport. I myself, when I was 14, I moved to England. I played for Fulham FC, which is a youth academy there. They told me when I arrived, unless you can get yourself a European passport, we're never going to sign you. And the reason being is you cost way too much. There's so many rules regarding work visas, and so it wasn't really going to happen. And if you look at 98%, let's call it 95% of the Americans that do end up going abroad to play, they either have a European passport, they've lived abroad, or they played 70% of the games for the first national team, like a Matt Turner, for example, who plays now at Arsenal. He had to play a certain number of games for the national team before he could be justified to get a job in England. So college soccer, if you want to play pro, is the best way, because if you don't have a European passport and you're not signing a pro contract at 16, 17 like myself, then the best way is to go to college. And if you look at Become Elite and almost all of the YouTubers, all of them played college soccer and are now playing in the USL, or have since jumped into the MLS, or maybe went straight to MLS. And actually, I have a strong opinion about this. If you really want to play in the MLS, if you're like, I really want to play in the MLS and then go abroad, or I really want to play at the highest level possible as an American, and you do not have a pro contract offer at 16, 17, the only and really the best way for you is to go pro in the United States is through college soccer. And the truth is, let's say you're a 16 or 17 year old and you have an offer to play USL, you're probably still better off going to college, killing it, and then getting a chance to get drafted in the MLS. And the reason is this: we had two players at Richmond Kickers, and this happened to me a number of times over, who were 17, 18 years old, and they were very good. So they signed in the USL. They jumped around different teams in the USL, never really breaking into any MLS team. Now they're still playing in the USL. Now they're 19, 20, 21. Amazing. They're pro soccer players. Dream come true. But they didn't really dream of being in the USL. And when they were 16, 17, they're like, this is just the beginning. I'll be in MLS soon enough. But the reality is, if you end up in the USL as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, it can be very difficult to kill it in the USL Championship or in the USL 1 and then get signed by an MLS team. It's very difficult. You're much better off either being in an MLS academy where you get to train with the first team all the time and there's an injury and then you get to be on the roster. That's a way more likely chance of you signing pro at an MLS level. And if that's not an option to you, which for many kids who sign USL but not affiliated with an MLS next team, they will then instead, or an MLS team rather, they will then instead have had a better chance to go kill it at Indiana, Notre Dame, Clemson, Syracuse, and then get drafted directly to MLS, because they'll at least get a tryout with the MLS team before probably and more than likely being dropped down to the USL team. But now they'll be with an MLS affiliate. So when I think of the Richmond Kickers player, he's a really good player. He signed his USL contract with San Antonio, which is a USL championship team. In hindsight, he's now playing with an MLS next second team. So in his case, it's probably hopefully going to work out. But he could have gone to college. There's an argument, and I'm not saying in his case he should have, but there is an argument to have said, well, had he gone straight to college and killed it, which he probably would have done because he's a very good player, then he could have gotten drafted directly to an MLS contract. Now he's got to fight his way up with a bunch of other pros. And this is crazy because in abroad, there is no draft. There's no like, this is the time of year and we're going to only pick people from these 100 teams. Who's it going to be? That doesn't exist. So the draft is an unbelievable, magical opportunity to play pro soccer. Now, in my own case, I was playing Division I college soccer. I didn't have any chance to go pro like right after college. I went to a couple private combines at the MLS next level, Colorado Rapids, Philadelphia Union. I did not make it. And then my career theoretically could have been done. Instead, I went on a bunch of open tryouts that anybody could have gone on, and eventually I did sign pro with Sacramento Republic. But for me, there was a slight hint. It was like maybe 0.05%. Because I had trained with the Seattle Sounders one of the summers during my college years, there was some tentative hint that maybe the Sounders were going to draft me, but honestly, I think I made that up in my head. It was probably never that close. But I was close to being a pro because of college. If I just went from high school to some UPSL team, which is what most kids will do if they don't play college, that's a dead end. UPSL is getting better. One day, I'm sure there will be players in the UPSL who sign pro, which has already happened. But college is like just so much more likely. Now, the odds are still against you for sure. And in my case, I'm focusing purely and only on college soccer. I'm not going to help you go pro unless you're working with me who wants to play college first, and then we can talk about what you should do in the summer times. But I just focus on helping kids play college soccer because that's where my passion is. So if you are a young student who's debating between turning pro in USL or going to college, all I would tell you is there's a debate to be had. I'm not saying you shouldn't pick your dream contract, but pretty much every player at UCLA or Stanford could have gone pro, but they chose to go get an education. And if they kill it or they win the tournament, they will have a better chance of signing in the MLS in some ways. There's always nuance to this, coaches, belief in you, injuries, etc. But if you are trying to play pro soccer in the United States, going to college is really your number one way to do so as of today. I'm the College Soccer Guy. I help you play college soccer specifically. If you want more help, give me a call. Links in the bio.